Welcome to your overview video for Chapter 15, the Early Classic Period, Opera and Vocal Music. The focus on melody in the Classic period led to a musical syntax different from earlier styles. The newer styles were characterized by periodicity. A period was formed by two or more phrases ending in a cadence, and a composition was made up of two or more periods in succession. 18th century theorists such as Heinrich Christoph Koch, 1749 to 1816, frequently referred to music in rhetorical terms, believing it could move one's emotions like speech and that a composition was like an oration. Koch showed how to assemble short units into phrases, phrases into periods, and periods into larger forms. The newer styles used a hierarchy of cadences, stronger for closing periods and weaker for internal phrases, and a hierarchy of harmonies. Composers compensated for slower harmonic rhythm by animating the texture through rhythmic means like the Alberti bass in keyboard music. By the late 18th century, composers differentiated musical material according to its function in the form, with each segment of music serving as a beginning, middle, or end of a phrase, period, section, or piece. Unlike 17th century thinkers, psychologists in the 18th century believed that human feelings were constantly changing. As a result, composers no longer sought to convey a single mood in a movement or section, but instead introduced emotional contrasts within sections or themes. Many characteristics of classical music originated in Italian opera of the 1720s and 1730s. New trends also emerged in vocal chamber music, and music for the church blended older styles with current styles borrowed from secular music. New independent genres of comic opera that offered social criticism and wide appeal were developed in Naples and Venice during the first decade of the 18th century. An opera buffa was a full-length Italian comic opera, sung throughout with a combination of 6 or more singing characters. Dialogue was set in rapid recitative with keyboard accompaniment. The arias used short tuneful phrases organized into periods and accompanied by simple harmonies. An intermezzo was a type of Italian comic opera that was performed in 2 or 3 segments between the acts of a serious opera or play. The best-known intermezzo is La Serva Padrona, The Maid as Mistress from 1733 by Giovanni Battista Pergolesi, 1710 to 1736, who used rapid changes of melodic figuration and style to convey the shifting thoughts and moods of his characters. The historical significance of comic opera was twofold. It responded to the widespread demand for naturalness during the later half of the 18th century, and it anticipated the trend toward musical nationalism which became prominent during the 19th century. Comic operas were written in national languages and reflected national music idioms. In France, the Querelle des Buffons was a debate between intellectuals about French and Italian opera. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, 1712 to 1778, praised Italian opera, especially its emphasis on melody and expression of emotions. Opera comique is French light opera in which songs alternate with spoken dialogue. The songs were either existing popular tunes, called vaudevilles, or newly composed airs, called ariettes. By the late 18th century, some opera comiques were based on serious plots such as rescue opera. The ballad opera from England consisted of spoken dialogue and songs that set new words to borrowed tunes. Over time, composers wrote more original music. Ballad operas became popular with the success of The Beggar's Opera, 1728, on a libretto by John Gay, 1685 to 1732. Singspiel was opera in German with spoken dialogue, musical numbers, and usually a comic plot. The Singspiel was an important precursor of the German language musical theater of Mozart and others. Public audiences supported national opera traditions, reinforcing Enlightenment preferences for music that was simple and had wide appeal. The Italian poet Pietro Metastasio, 1698 to 1782, whose librettos were set hundreds of times, developed the standard form for opera seria. The 3 acts of opera seria consist of alternated recitative, action, and aria, reflection, with a few duets and large ensembles. The musical interest of Italian opera lies in the arias. The standard aria form was the da capo. In the 1720s and 1730s, composers introduced new features to da capo arias, including more than one mood in the A section, short melodic units, and the recapitulation of secondary key material in the tonic. Opera singers were expected to embellish the written vocal line. Johann Adolf Hasse, 1699 to 1783, music director at the Saxon court in Dresden, was a leading composer of opera seria at mid-century. His vocal style follows the natural rhythms and inflections of the text. Faustina Bordoni, around 1700 to 1781, Hasse's wife, was one of the great singer-actresses of her time and performed all over Europe. From mid-century on, Italian opera underwent reforms that reflected Enlightenment thought. 2 of the most important figures in opera reform were Nicola Jommelli, 1714 to 1774, and Tommaso Traetta, 1729 to 1779, who combined French and Italian traits to create a cosmopolitan type of opera. Christoph Willibald Gluck, 1714 to 1787, working with librettist Raniero de Calzabigi, 1714 to 1795, reformed opera by making music serve the poetry and advance the plot while synthesizing French, Italian, and German operatic styles. In Gluck's Orfeo ed Eurydice, recitatives, arias, and choruses intermingle in large unified scenes. Gluck encouraged the singers to behave as actors in order to bring the drama to life. Gluck brought his new style to Paris and composed several successful French operas, including Iphigenia in Aulis, 1774, Armide, 1777, and Iphigenia in Tauride, which is Iphigenia in Taurus, 1779. Gluck's operas became models for many other works, especially those performed in Paris. In the New World, church musicians drew on their respective national styles. New England Puritans used metrical psalms in worship. William Billings, 1746 to 1800, was the most prominent composer of sacred new music in New England, writing in a variety of genres, including hymns, anthems, and fuguing tunes. He wrote in a style best suited to his needs, remaining independent from normal rules of counterpoint. Moravians, German-speaking Protestants, were familiar with European trends and used organ, strings, and other instruments in their services. For your 25-question quiz, I would know about gallant texture. I would know about gallant style. I would know about periodic music, what a period is. Know about Heinrich Christoph Koch. Know about periodicity in music. Know about Alberti bass. Know about emotion in music and its constant change. Know about comic opera. Know about Pergolesi. Know about Italian opera buffa. Know about French opera comique. Know about English ballad opera. Know about Singspiel. Know about Pietro Metastasio. Know about the form of opera seria. I would know about ritornello form. Know about Faustina Bordoni. Know about Johann Adolf Hasse. Know about 18th century opera reform. Know about Gluck. Know about da capo. Know about embellishment in da capo aria. Know about Gluck's Orfeo ed Eurydice. Know about the Psalms, first book of published music in North America. Know about William Billings. And know about Moravians. Good luck.